Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Wonderful. We have 63 people on right now, and
Fabulous.
we will start in one moment.
Excellent.
Agnes and Matt, thank you for joining us. I just promoted you to panelists, so whenever you are welcome to turn on your video whenever you like.
Great, thank you.
Okay, why don't we get started? I think several may still be joining us. I can see the participant number growing by the minute, so hopefully people have coffee, and we are ready to start hopefully a new day in Highland Park and in the state of Illinois. So welcome everybody. Thanks for getting up and joining us. And Rob, thanks for putting on a suit this early in the morning to join us. So I think we can all agree that it's vitally important that we all work together, not just now, but going forward, to support our local economy, our local businesses. We know are the heartbeat of Highland Park, and the city looks forward to working with everybody at this critical time. Somebody said a few days ago it was so easy to shut everything down, but now's the difficult part. Now's the part where we have to thoughtfully and patiently and carefully with each other move towards this new phase 3 within the state. So I think the key words are fair, accessible, and safe. We want to make sure it's fair to each of our businesses. We want to make sure that it's accessible, and we want to make sure that we're doing this in a way, of course, that still protects the safety, not only of each other, but of our neighbors and of our business workers. So as we head into phase 3, I think it's important to realize that while precaution is key to progress, we want to do it in a way that helps all of you who have been so important for so long in our community. You are us and we are you. So unfortunately, the virus is still around. So the work is cut out for us, and we know that we have a lot of discussion today. I am eager to hear your input. People have been asking me questions, but a lot of it is defined by each of you and what you're interested in doing as we move forward. So I want to welcome several people who are part of this conversation today. City Manager Gita Newkirk has joined us. City Councilman Alyssa Noble, who is so strongly involved with our local businesses and supporting our local economy, has joined us. Assistant Manager Rob Savo is with us. Business Development Manager Carolyn Hirsch. Business and Economic Development Chair Katie Wiswald, as well as the Business and Economic Development Advisory Group, have joined us. We have Joel Fontaine and Drew Awesome for Community Development. We have members of the Property Owners Association, the Alliance, the Chamber. Agnes from DCEO has joined us, and Matt Quinn is with us on behalf of the Illinois Restaurant Association. And I know several of you wear many hats, and so thank you again for joining us. Gita, we had talked about doing a Zoom poll to understand our audience makeup. Is that ready to go?
Ready to go. So thank you again for joining us. We're going to launch a polling right now just to understand what sectors that people are representing. So if you could fill out that poll, and the results are coming in. Okay, perfect. All right, so 28% representation on behalf of restaurants, large service sector. We've got fitness, retail, and then 28% characterized as other. So just so we have, I will share those results right here.
Okay, so a good blend. And again, thanks everybody for joining us this morning. So with that, I will turn it over to City Manager Geeta Newkirk, and we will talk about the status of COVID-19 in Highland Park.
Thank you, Mayor. Just give me one moment. Thank you. So for those of you who have joined us on the phone, I do have a PowerPoint that I'm working off of. We have this posted to our website. I just want to make sure. So Rob, you can see the PowerPoint, right? Okay, excellent.
Yep.
So this PowerPoint is available on our website. I'm just going to go through and provide just highlights of resources that we have been promoting and made available to our business community. We are planning to present our draft reopening plan for city buildings at our Committee of the Whole meeting Tuesday evening. So I want to give highlights of that just so you have a good understanding of what we are doing as a municipal organization. And much of the information can also be applied to private businesses as well. So if you have any questions as you're putting together your reopening plan, certainly please contact us at any time. We've had a number of questions about the Governor's Restore Illinois plan, so we're going to give highlights of that. And again, you'll hear me say repeatedly, much of this information is on our website because we want people to have the full comprehensive information that we are regularly sharing. So I'll just give highlights of that. And then probably the most frequent questions that we're getting lately are, so what are we doing and how can we open to maximize business to the community? And certainly we want to support you and we want to support the community. So we're going to talk about a number of initiatives that are underway and planned as our businesses start to reopen in accordance with the Governor's Restore Plan. So we really, since the onset and even before the pandemic impacted our area, we have been in communication with federal government, our state agencies, particularly Illinois Department of Public Health, certainly the Governor's Office, our government partners in the community, so the park districts, the school districts, we have been in really daily conversations with them, as well as our neighboring communities. Just as we're all going through our emergency operations plans, working to keep our employees healthy as well as the public healthy, it was really imperative that we just all stay in sync. And so a lot of communication. And then with all that communication, we wanted to make sure that we have been communicating with the public. So hopefully everyone on this call is signed up for the city's electronic newsletter. At the onset of this pandemic, we were issuing email communication on a daily basis because that's how quickly everything was moving and how, you kept hearing how this was a fluid situation. And so at that time, it was really daily communication. Now we are issuing e-news every Tuesday and Friday and more frequently as appropriate, depending on announcements that are coming to us from the state and other information that we need to share. So all that information is on our website. Our website is updated daily and we are posting daily on social media as well. We have provided all the restaurants that are in Highland Park, everyone that is providing food, services, anything that was considered essential, that is considered essential, and all that is listed on our website. And so we really have been emphasizing the importance of shopping local, supporting local business. And there have been a lot of certainly food deliveries as well as grocery deliveries. So we are making sure that the entire Chicagoland area knows who are restaurants and grocery stores and everyone that's providing that service so they can use our businesses. We also have a list of all of our businesses in the community listed on our website. And so we've been regularly promoting that as everyone is providing now delivery, curbside pickup. We have information on our website of all those businesses that are providing gift cards. And so made it really easy for customers to be able to quick access those businesses and purchase a gift card. This was used very heavily, especially for our service businesses. We saw a lot of businesses and worked with them just to make sure they had everything in place. The salons, for example, so people could buy products from the salon and gift cards just to keep everyone going during that time when we're in the full closure. We have put together, which is an evolving document of frequently asked questions. And so that is ever evolving. It's also on our website. We're communicating that regularly and working excuse me, in working with the state as well as federal agencies, there's been a wealth of information in terms of webinars, resource guides, information. There have been more than $14 million in small business grants that the state has issued, averaging about $20,000 per business. And so as all that information is becoming available, we are sharing it with our business community, and hopefully everyone is taking advantage of that. We are your partners in this with you. So if you have questions anytime, if we can't answer it, we will certainly find someone who can get you that answer. So some information about the city's reopening plan. And again, as I indicated, a lot of this information will also apply to private business. So if as you're putting together your reopening plan, if you have questions, please let us know. We are leading off with making sure that our reopening plan is in writing and it is shared with our employees. Employees are really hungry to know what their employer is doing to make sure that they are kept healthy and safe and how they are serving the public. And so ongoing employee communication is very critical, especially even as employers, for example, as we're doing cleaning outside of our regular business hours, we're letting the employees know when we're doing that contract cleaning and how it's being undertaken. And so can't emphasize enough the importance of employee communication. And again, our reopening plan, if you'd like to see that, it is listed on our website right now as part of Tuesday evening's committee, the whole packet, or just send us an email and we can send it to you via email as well. So as a city, we have, although we closed our physical doors to the public, we certainly have continued to provide service to the public. Most notably is our public safety department, so police and fire. We modified our staffing schedules at the onset just to help ensure that we were keeping our employees healthy, just in case an entire shift tested positive with the coronavirus. So we've modified our staffing levels in our public safety departments, but they certainly have been continuing to provide service to the public for COVID patients as well as other emergency matters as well. And I just applaud them for the work that they've been doing on the front lines. And we certainly appreciate all the support of the community for our first responders. We have all of our operations right now online, and we're providing service via email. So we are processing building permits, we are issuing vital records, we are conducting inspections, we're doing that virtually. We are processing Freedom of Information Act requests. So there really isn't anything that we're not providing. We've put a couple of things on hold, for example, our administrative hearings, but we're planning right now to roll those back out in the next 30 days or so. And again, looking at a virtual environment to do that. So again, although our doors are closed, we are certainly in full operation here. So feel free to reach us anytime. As we take a look at our reopening plan, we have already implemented a number of different facility enhancements. So for example, our front counters of all of our municipal buildings, we now have plexiglass, or what's commonly referred to as sneeze guards, very similar to what the grocery stores have as well. And so again, just to have that glass to separate the customer from the employee. And so those are already in place. We're looking at the floor markers. We're looking at reminders about washing hands and other directions, the face covering reminders. In our conference rooms, well, first of all, we're doing all meetings via virtually, but when we come back, we're covering the chairs in the conference rooms and in the break rooms just to make sure that employees are maintaining that 6-foot physical distancing. The garbage cans, we're actually taking the top of the garbage cans off, so there's no touching that top of the lid, and doing other things in that regard. As businesses are taking a look at their reopening plan, some more aggressive measures that employers can take a look at is doing the no-touch hand washing system, so customers don't have to touch the water. Looking at doorways that automatically open, looking at lights that automatically turn on when someone enters a room. So all those factors are going to help just reinforce how efforts that an organization is taking to keep their employees and the public healthy and safe. As it pertains to the cleaning protocols, we have documented our contractual cleaning in all of our municipal buildings. So what is cleaned, what products our contractor is using. And then we have a new schedule that is put in place where we're asking our employees to also clean. So it's not just contracted service, but we're asking employees to clean those high touch points, the elevator buttons, the door handles, the handrails, their personal workspaces, and making sure that they clean all those out. We've received a number of questions from businesses about where they can buy PPE as well as cleaning supplies. And so Lake County Partners has put together a resource guide that is currently available on our website. We're going to continue to update that as further information is obtained. And again, just as a reminder for the PPE, that individuals, unless you're a healthcare worker or unless you're a first responder, you don't need that medical grade personal protective equipment. So fortunately, we have good supplies now overall of the N95 masks and other medical grade. But again, just very important, just make sure that everyone has the face coverings that are recommended by the CDC, and all that information is on our website. Naturally, we're taking a look at employee work schedules to the greatest extent possible. We're working to ensure that our employees, when they are back in the office, that they are at least 6 feet apart from each other if possible. So we are looking at changing some workstations around or putting up some type of natural comfortable barrier in between two employees who may be right next to each other. And then we are also taking a look, we have in our reopening plan information about what employees should do at the start of their day. So many organizations, for example, are taking temperatures of their employees before they start. Now, we as an organization are not doing that. Our rationale is that, one, this virus spreads when you're asymptomatic. So you don't have to have a fever in order to be positive with this virus. And two, if individuals are symptomatic, you don't necessarily always have a fever. And so what we're asking employees to do, though, is regularly monitor themselves, take their temperatures at home if they'd like to, but very, very important that if you are feeling any of the symptoms which have been identified, please don't come into work for your safety as well as everyone around you. And then once individuals are in the office, we have very strict protocols. The first thing they do when they come in is they come in and they go wash their hands. And so repeatedly, it's, we're going back to kindergarten basics. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, sing happy birthday or sing a song. And then that's how everyone should be starting their day. And then we have information about our face covering policy, which, as everyone knows, this is a law in the state of Illinois. And so certainly we're adhering to it ourselves. So the face covering, and we're careful not to say mask because it doesn't necessarily have to be a mask, it just has to be a covering. And so that should be worn at all times. Certainly if someone is in a public place, certainly our public works employees that are considered kind of construction workers, and so they should all be having it out. But even if you are in public, if you're not able to maintain that 6-foot separation, you should always be wearing that face covering. And so how to wear a face covering, how to take it off is all on our website as well. All right, so just a couple of slides on the Restore Illinois plan, and hopefully everyone has seen this, but the governor announced this 5-phased plan to reopen our state. What we've really appreciated is that his planning has been guided by public health metrics. They have identified districts by business, education, recreational activities, characterized in each phase of what can be open and when and how exactly all that unfolds. And all this information is going to be updated as research and science is developed and as the potential for treatments is realized, specifically the vaccine. So our state has been divided into 4 regions and then 11 subregions within that. In Highland Park, as you can see here, we are in the Northeast region, specifically in 10, bordering the city of Chicago as a suburb of Chicago. And so that's important as we take a look at when our area is able to be reopened. And again, as the governor has indicated, we are approaching into phase 3, anticipated to be effective May 29th. So this is not going to be finalized, us moving into phase 3, until the governor's order indicates that. So we are all working towards this. And I will say, and I can't emphasize enough, we are waiting for guidance from the state as to what exactly this looks like with the details behind it. So certainly as soon as we get that, we will share that via our e-news and every communication modality. But here's what we do know. Phase 3 looks at gatherings of 10 people or fewer. State parks, all state parks now are open as opposed to just a few previously under phase 2. And again, that emphasis on 10 people or fewer. Non-essential businesses may return to work under this plan with very strict guidelines. And again, all those guidelines are to be developed, but we know certainly they're going to include physical distancing. We know they're going to include face coverings. Very important now, bars and restaurants have been able to be open for delivery and pickup and drive-through, but now outdoor dining is permitted with very strict guidance. Again, it's yet to all be developed, but we are all working right now in that regard and looking forward to that. Personal care services, so all the salons and the health clubs will be open for one-on-one personal training as well as outdoor classes, again, based on number of attendees and how exactly they're set up. And then retail, again, is able to be opened with limited capacity. And all of this, I just can't stress enough, is subject to specific guidance, which the state is putting together, which they will share with municipalities in the coming days. Now, how we move forward and if we move back is dependent on a number of things. And so we really need to be very, very careful. And if you could please help us communicate this, just because we may be moving to this next phase doesn't mean that it's all a celebration and we can have all these big parties together. And especially as we're approaching Memorial Day, where we're so used to, you know, barbecues and getting together with friends and families. The risk of increased cases and increased deaths that often lead to that is really prevalent. And so we need to continue to stress to everybody just the importance of physical distancing, the face covering policy, and making sure that we're adhering to this. But moving forward or backward is dependent on a number of different things. They are taking a look at positivity rates. They're looking at hospital admissions, ICU beds, testing that's available. They are conducting, health departments conducting contract tracing, and all that is regularly being evaluated. Right now, or as of yesterday in Lake County, there are 7,100 positive cases. And throughout the state, over 102,000. So again, these numbers are real. It impacts all of us, or has the potential to impact all of us. So although we are moving forward, we just still need to continue to be cautious. Phase 4 very quickly increases the gathering opportunities to 50 people or fewer, and then it increases our state a little bit more for more activity. So I won't go through all this. This is all on our website. Phase 4 also indicates what, you know, businesses are open and types of businesses. So take a look at the entire Restore Illinois plan on our website, and then we're happy to answer any questions. I know Agnes is on the call too. The Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity has been outstanding, stellar partners. So can't thank them enough for their partnership. And then phase 5 is really the celebration phase. So this is when testing, tracing, and treatment are widely available. This is really when we start to see all sectors of the economy reopening, but we're still maintaining our good hygiene practices and health practices to keep especially our most vulnerable population, all of our seniors, healthy and safe, but really all of us. So now moving on to some City of Highland Park initiatives and what we're doing right now, just as everyone is preparing for this next phase of reopening. So number one question is, are you going to close streets? And let me just tell you on behalf of the city, we have talked about it. There is a great interest to do this. So yes, we are looking at opportunities to close streets, but we're certainly doing it in a very careful, sensitive way, because we have also heard from businesses who said, please don't close the street in front of me because I'm relying on curbside pickup now and I don't want to lose that parking. And so our community development staff working with business development is taking a look at, based on where all of our businesses are, what type of businesses, specifically in the Central Business District and Ravinia District, where does it make sense that we could close streets? For what time period would we do that? How would that look? We're sensitive certainly to deliveries, the types of businesses that are there. There's health code requirements, there's building code requirements, and certainly public safety is our foundation as we move forward. We are presenting this information to the City Council at the Committee of the Whole meeting Tuesday evening. And at that time, we'll be talking about as well opportunities to make these application processes as streamlined as possible. So we're looking at a no-cost permit application, but an application is very important just so we have an understanding of what exactly each business is looking to do, how you're going to do it, how you're meeting the requirements for each of these initiatives, and then we would grant that approval. And again, we will do that as swiftly as possible. We currently right now have on our books a license to operate a temporary outdoor accessory use. Very often this is used for outdoor dining for businesses or outdoor merchandise. So businesses that may sell garden supplies or different things from outside, they get an outdoor accessory use. It's accessory to their business. This permit is a $75 fee. We are making a recommendation so the council will consider waiving that fee for the balance of this year for those businesses that really have been impacted by COVID. So if someone wants to look at this option right now, it would be a no-cost permit fee, but again, that application would still be required. We're also looking at a license to give businesses an opportunity to use our public right-of-way, so that's space in front of their business, to set up merchandise or to set up businesses. We know they're setting up tables in front where people can pick up their merchandise for curbside pickup. And so we welcome that. But again, we just need to have a license to have an understanding of what is being put on the public right-of-way, making sure it doesn't block access. We are looking at providing some flexibility and relief from our sign code regulations and allowing businesses to have those A-frame signs or signage on the public right-of-way to communicate how people can contact the business, how you pick up your supplies and goods, as well as signage on the public right-of-way. This would also be window signage, and so giving some flexibility for businesses that may want to have additional signage in their window to communicate to their customers and prospective customers. We are looking at increased 15-minute parking throughout our business districts, just because so much of business activity right now is by curbside pickup. And if business owners and property managers could help and just reinforce the importance of employee parking in those employee lots, it'll clear up those spaces in front of businesses for customer parking. But we are looking at increasing our 15-minute parking regulations throughout. Bikes is considered now the new toilet paper. And so a lot of people riding bikes, which is great. So we are looking at increasing the number of bike racks throughout our business districts. We already have quite a few right now. So we're going to identify, make sure that people know where they are, looking at increased number of bike racks as more people are biking throughout the community. We have received a request for a drive-in theater, and we definitely want to entertain an initiative like this. So if you know someone who is coordinating these, please feel free to have them contact us. We think this is a great opportunity to bring the community together, but do so in a safe way where people are physically distant and at least have some recreation together, but not too close together. And so we are open to looking at locations where this could be done and working with that applicant to execute that type of initiative. So although we are working on a number of different applications and processes to provide this service to the business community, we recognize the importance of each unique business. And so we're going to continue to work one-on-one with your respective business to make sure that we're addressing your needs, we're addressing your specific applications. And so our business development staff, led by Carolyn Hirsch and Rob Sabo is our assistant city manager, and our community development staff, Joel Fontaine and Drew Awesome, we're going to be working with you and guide you throughout all your needs and questions. And then quickly, just to wrap up in terms of our next steps, again, we have a committee of the whole meeting next Tuesday evening where we're going to be presenting a number of these initiatives. We will have the applications as soon as we get the guidance from the state. We'll have the applications on our website. We will let everyone know that they're there and to go ahead and apply. But we do encourage you right now to start putting together your plans in place and your ideas and talk to us just so we can at least have those initial conversations. Again, if you're not signed up for the city's e-news, please do so. Again, we're issuing regular communication every week about everything that's coming from the state and then local news. And then again, contact us for case-by-case recommendations or feedbacks you have. So we're excited for this next phase, and we're excited to work with you. And we can't thank you enough for all your, even though this has been such a challenging time for all businesses, you have really stepped up and you are honoring our graduates and you're providing service and assistance to people in need. And we really just applaud you for that and can't thank you enough on behalf of all of us.
Thank you, Gita. Thank you for a very comprehensive report of the resources, the many, many resources that are available. And I want to thank everyone for your questions. We are going to go through our presentation and then we'll circle back. We're getting some terrific questions. For those who don't know, the city's website is cityhpil.com. And there is just an unbelievable treasure trove of information there. And just want to give a special shout out to Gita, who I think now is officially working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Thank you for that report. Right. We're in constant contact pretty much. So now we're going to move on to Agnes Magchek from DCEO, the State of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. And Agnes will provide us with an overview of federal and state of Illinois financial resources. Agnes, thank you so much for joining us. And I think I just totally butchered your last name because from what I see on the screen, it's nothing close to what I just said. So please share your last name.
No worries. This is Agnes Masnick, and I work for the Illinois Department of Commerce. I work in economic development, and I represent Lake County and Highland Park. So thank you for inviting me. The Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity knows that businesses and workers are facing an unprecedented and challenging crisis. We are working closely with the governor's office to address some of the hardest hit industries with support and initiatives that we have rolled out. We have provided over $100 million in COVID-19 support, 14 million hospitality industry grants that have been awarded through a lottery. We've provided a downstate stabilization grant, Illinois Small Business Loan Fund. We've just announced Fast Track Public Infrastructure Grant to get money to help with revitalizing our different infrastructure around the state. We just launched Get Hired Illinois, an online job matching portal. And we're ramping up customer support through our hotline, chat box, and email. So that's provided on the DCO website. So, you know, I know we are always referring people to go to our website. We literally have at least 70 employees responding to people, to questions from all around the state. You know, everything from guidance questions to essential questions to any of our product questions. Upcoming opportunities, the governor's office is working in coordination with DCO, and we've provided COVID-19 relief fund, and that would provide grant opportunities for small businesses that will not open to full capacity before phase 4 or 5 in the fiscal 21 budget. This program currently is pending with the General Assembly. And today I was asked to talk a little bit about some federal programs. And we work with our partners at the SBA, the Federal Stimulus CARES Act. I know that people have already heard about the Paycheck Protection Program. That's the 10 million, or excuse me, up to 10 million forgivable loan program. And it's based upon the amount of your payroll history. So it's up to 2.5 times the monthly average. This was geared for small businesses and nonprofits with less than 500 employees. And independent contractors' expenses, I know that there's been questions for 1099s 1099s cannot be eligible in payroll calculation as expenses eligible to contribute for the forgiveness purposes. There's been a lot of questions around that. If you need assistance, if you haven't already applied and you need help, I can help get you in contact with an SBA approved lender in Lake County, or that can be accessible on the SBA's website. These programs need to work through the local SBA approved lender. To check the status of the application, there is a customer care number, and they will, and as of May 7th, there was $127 billion in remaining in appropriations for this program. So, if you still haven't applied and are interested, please do so. The Economic Injury Disaster Loan, it's also called EIDL. This program right now is only working for agricultural purposes. This was the working capital loan program where eligible entities may qualify for loans up to $2 million, and that's the term's 30 years. A few questions have come my way for businesses who, I know that the website, went through a couple different versions. So businesses have asked, I have submitted it in March and they haven't gotten back to me. So the SBA is recommending that you reapply, and when you reapply, it should go back to your the date of that original application. The SBA does offer subsidy, for current loan payments. If you have a relationship with the SBA, they will cover up to 6 months of principal and interest payments that are owed on most SBA loans. And they're also offering bridge loans for small businesses who currently have a relationship with the SBA to help them access up to $25,000 quickly. The loans can provide a vital economic support to small businesses to help overcome temporary loss of revenue and they're experiencing. And then a couple questions that people have asked: will a borrower's PPP loan forgiveness amount be reduced if a borrower's laid off employee offered to rehire the same employee, but the employee declined the offer? They're saying no, and the SBA and Treasury intend to issue a rule about this. People have also asked, can you apply for both the Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP, and the SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loan? Yes, a recipient can apply for both. Businesses cannot use an EIDL and a Paycheck Protection Loan for the same purpose, though. So just caution any referrals that you're making, that they have to show distinct difference of where that money is going. And then how can the Paycheck Protection Loan Program be forgiven? At least 75% of those funds must be used for payroll costs, continuation of group health care during periods of paid sick, medical, family leave, or insurance premiums, salaries, commissions, or similar compensation. Moving on, another program through the state, the Illinois Business Invest, that's for small business COVID relief programs, that's being offered through our treasurer's office, who they're essentially partnering with approved financial institutions. They're providing loans, either low rate loans or loans to businesses or nonprofits that would not otherwise qualify. They've made up to $250 million in deposits available to these institutions, and that information is on the website with lenders that are all across the state. So, and if there is not a lender near, near Highland Park, I'm happy to help just try to find logistically the one that makes the most sense for folks on the call. We at Commerce did offer the Small Business Emergency Loan Fund. We're still working with our lending partners to process a large number of the submitted applications. We're in the process, we're still processing them, and we're going to be notifying folks quickly. We have temporarily suspended the acceptance of the applications, and please refer back to our website. We also do post on our social media any any announcements, and then obviously I'm here to help as well. And right now that's about it. Hopefully I covered most of it, and I do anticipate we will be providing more guidance to the businesses that are on the phone today or on the webinar. So I will be working closely with the community to make sure we get that information out as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thanks, Agnes. Can you share your contact info and also the website where all of this great information is located?
Definitely. I'll put it in the chat for everyone.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we will hear from Matt Quinn of the Illinois Restaurant Association with guidelines for opening for restaurants in Highland Park. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you, Mayor Rodering. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Great. So my name is Matt Quinn. I'm the Assistant Director of Government Relations and Communications with the Illinois Restaurant Association. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all today. For more than 100 years, the IRA has worked to advocate, promote, protect, and educate the restaurant and hospitality industry of Illinois. And we do serve every facet of the industry. We've got iconic brands, neighborhood spots, chef-driven restaurants, diners, bar restaurants, quick service, breweries, food trucks, and really everything in between. And right now, we're all hurting and we all need help. Every restaurant wants to continue to serve their team members and local communities the very best they can, but right now we really just don't know when the light at the end of the tunnel is coming. It's a fight for survival every day across the board, and unfortunately, no restaurant is immune to the challenges we're facing. As the IRA advocates for financial and regulatory relief at the local, state, and federal levels, we're also focused on what reopening looks like in Illinois. So just over 2 weeks ago, the governor released the Restore Illinois plan for reopening, as Gita discussed earlier. We were deeply concerned with the aspect of the plan that won't allow restaurants to reopen their dine-in service until June 26th at the very earliest. We're currently urging the governor's team to reconsider that provision and allow for restaurants to reopen in phase 3 with limited occupancy and other health and safety guidelines in place. 2 days ago, the governor made the announcement that outdoor dining will be allowed at restaurants in phase 3. Outdoor dining is not going to help every restaurant, but it's definitely a constructive step in the right direction. All of this is still in development, as you've heard from Gita, and it's going to come down to local municipalities and health departments to determine exactly what they want to allow and expand upon for their restaurants in their areas. We definitely encourage Highland Park and Lake County officials to explore all possibilities for outdoor dining, closing down certain streets, sidewalks, using park space, etc. Again, the announcement from the governor is a step in the right direction. Our hope is that we can keep flattening the curve and reevaluate where restaurants fit into the phases of Restore Illinois. So we don't know the exact guidelines and regulations for reopening restaurants across Illinois yet. The IRA is working to make sure that local municipalities and the state will take restaurateurs' operational, financial, and safety concerns into account as official guidelines are further developed and implemented. We've shared the reopening guidance for restaurants developed by the National Restaurant Association and ServSafe with the City of Highland Park, and we definitely encourage everyone to review those best practices. When it comes to reopening, here are some considerations that restaurants and really all businesses should start to think about now. Social distancing, of course, so that's 6 feet between tables, physical barriers between tables when 6 feet of distancing isn't possible, gathering sizes and occupancy. We can expect some limited occupancy to some degree. PPE, making sure that masks are available for staff, gloves are available for food handling, and proper training is available on PPE for all staff. Hygiene, so regular hand washing and sanitizing. Access, employee health screenings are something that a lot of places are considering and maybe moving forward with. Cleaning standards, so daily and overnight cleaning, sanitizing all surfaces, hourly cleaning at restaurants of tables and chairs. Visual guidance, so markers and posters indicating social distancing requirements. Workplace conditions like optimizing ventilation and airflow, limiting interactions with staff and guests whenever possible. So these are the kind of things to start considering for your business or for your restaurant specifically. Communication and education are really the keys to success here. So we hope that everyone continues to work together, businesses, elected officials, public health experts, to really come up with some pragmatic regulations on reopening that keep everyone safe and help our businesses survive now and thrive in the future. So I'd encourage anyone that wants to learn more to please visit our website at illinoisrestaurants.org. And you can sign up for frequent updates that we're providing to restaurants and bars throughout the state as well. Appreciate the opportunity to speak here today.
Thanks for joining us, Matt. And I know I have several questions specific to your area. I'll wait till the end, but really appreciate your joining us. I know we're all anxious to get back together at those special places that we love in our community. So thank you. Really appreciate it. So now Assistant City Manager Rob Sabo is going to talk about an overview of our business survey. Rob?
Thank you, Mayor. So thank you to everyone who responded to the city's business reopening preparedness survey. The information is going to help us as we evaluate how to support our diverse business community to be profitable as the city progresses through the phases of the Restore Illinois plan. If you have not completed that survey, please do so. We will send out the link to it once again, just so that everyone has it. It's an online SurveyMonkey link. That's vitally helpful to us in order to understand how the situation is affecting your businesses. We evaluated the responses we received through May 15th. We received 88 responses through that date from a wide array of sectors in the city. In many cases, there were repeated themes, as was to be expected, on the primary triggers for what the community needs to reopen and the assistance needed. Based on those survey results, most businesses have indicated that they've been developing policies and procedures to prevent virus spread place in the workplace. We'll continue to include resources in the city's business development e-news and guidance on developing such policies and procedures for your workplace. A common theme that arose was that businesses have been procuring supplies and services to ensure effective workplace sanitation. While the city can't recommend or procure specific suppliers or services, we are communicating with business and local partners on ways to ensure that we have ample PPE supplies for our Highland Park businesses to be able to secure and purchase. Another theme that arose from surveys was that businesses sought new financing and renegotiated payments to suppliers and landlords. Business Development Manager Hirsch will continue to proactively send out through our emails any new financial programs and support programs that we become aware of, along with instructions, and also information on any new legislation aimed to provide financial support for our businesses. A major theme that stood out about what will influence businesses to reopen was receiving clear guidance from policymakers on workplace safety requirements. We recognize the importance of our business community receiving guidance on reopening plans. The city's been in communication with the governor's office, DECO, and local agencies to gather details that will allow us to clearly and consistently provide our businesses with information. While we try to provide specific answers as quickly as we can, in many cases we rely on state guidance to ensure that the information the city is sharing adheres with the governor's orders. Our goal with the guidance that we're providing is to ensure our businesses receive accurate information. I'd encourage everyone to continue reading the emails that come from Business Development Manager Hirsch. If you have not been getting those emails, please let us know. You can send an email to cityhp@cityhpil.com. We can also sign you up for the Business Development e-news if you have not been receiving those as well. There were questions in the survey about demand and business flow. The city's been promoting businesses that have remained open during the stay-at-home order. We'll continue to work on our communication and marketing efforts as we transition to phase 3 to let the public know about what businesses are open and taking proper precautions to protect customers and employee safety and well-being. We'll also communicate requirements for customers, such as when and where to wear face coverings, and provide regular updates on state and county health department requirements. Thank you again to everyone who submitted comments on the survey. We reviewed each comments and are actively working to implement steps to ensure prosperity for our business community very soon based on your feedback and needs. Again, we highly encourage anyone who hasn't completed that survey to do so, and we'll share that link through our email system. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Rob. I know we've received several questions through the question and answer piece of Zoom, as well as in the chat, and also in advance. Matt Quinn, if I could ask you to come back. I just have a few questions specific to restaurants that may be on other people's minds as well. Obviously, we will be continuing to work in consultation with the Lake County Department of Public Health, and we all know that consumer confidence is absolutely critical to a successful reopening and then continuing. People need to feel safe to show up. And so to that end, I've been reading extensively about restaurant reopening across the country and sort of the development, I guess, of best practices to minimize the spread of infection. So I just sort of wanted to run through some of those elements and see where the Illinois Restaurant Association is on all of these. My understanding was that several were offering limited menus, not full menus, that they were requiring disposable dishes and utensils, no shared condiments, touchless pay. And I was also curious to know, obviously, access to restrooms is an issue, but one major question that I have with an eye towards continued success with our local businesses, has anyone done the cost benefit analysis of seated versus carryout? And, we look at that in terms of access via our public roadways. Obviously, we want to make it as feasible as possible. And it sounds really neat and fun to have sort of a big outdoor dining opportunity, but I'm curious to know if there's been any analysis of the cost benefit to the restaurants who've done seated versus limiting now access to carryout.
Mm-hmm. So I can tell you that right now, over the past 9 to 10 weeks, that restaurants they have been allowed to do carryout and delivery only. Restaurant sales are down 80% across the board due to that. There are 594,000 people that work in the restaurant and hospitality industry before this crisis. 321,000 of them have been laid off. And sadly, we anticipate that 20% of restaurants just will not reopen after this. So it's been very difficult for restaurants to get by on just carryout and delivery. Even in good times, in the restaurant industry, 97 cents of every dollar that comes in, goes right back into the food, employees, and everything else that goes with running the place. So it's a very low profit margin industry, as you all know, even in good times. So right now it's been pretty devastating. So I think now that everyone's looking ahead to reopening, I think any allowance for indoor seating in a reduced capacity is going to make a huge help. It's extremely difficult to operate with reduced capacity. That's just not how restaurants' economic business models were set up. But at this point, anything helps, and every dollar helps, and every sale helps a restaurant. So we're looking forward to working with the state. We're working locally in the city of Chicago on a reopening task force. We're leading the food and beverage reopening group, and happy to work with officials in Highland Park and Lake County to come up with some creative and pragmatic reopening solutions for restaurants.
Great, thank you. So Rob Sabo, do you want to walk us through the questions that you received in advance, and then we can take the questions that are appearing below?
Absolutely, Mayor, thank you. So we'll just go ahead sequentially through these. What should businesses do that already submitted their outdoor dining applications? If you've already submitted an outdoor dining application, please submit revised plans. You must provide a certificate of insurance naming the city of Highland Park as additional insured for the outdoor dining area. And that information can be submitted to the Business Development Management Office, CHERSH, CHERSCH at cityhpil.com. We'll post that in the comments section. The Next question is, it looks like we can reopen outdoor seating, but it can't be on the sidewalk, correct? Is there an alternative? That is correct. Based on initial information from the governor's office, tables must be located at least 6 feet from sidewalks and can't be on sidewalks. Right now, as discussed, the city is planning for on-street dining options in accordance with guidance from the state and Illinois Department of Public Health. Does the city plan to reinstall the bike holder on St. John's Avenue between Central and Laurel? We have many cyclists coming, so it would be great to have it back if possible. The city is looking to ensure ample bike racks in downtown, and we'll look to reinstalling the bike holder at that location. It's also dependent on how the outdoor dining is set up, so that may cause the bike rack to be moved to accommodate tables. As we look at site plans, we will evaluate how to build in bike racks and bicycle access with that. Will there be restrictions on the types of tables that can be used for outdoor dining? Table types and appearances haven't been determined, but we will explore them in the next few days as final plans are prepared. If any table type restrictions will be put in place, the city will notify restaurants as soon as possible. Tables will need to be of a size to accommodate social distancing, so no communal dining setups of any sort. But we are awaiting, as was previously mentioned, we are awaiting that guidance from the state on the layout and how tables should be set up. Can restaurants develop rolling kitchens for catering operations at venues? Restaurants who desire to build out a rolling kitchen for catering purposes may explore this option and present it to the city. The city isn't pursuing food truck operations. Rather, we're working with our local businesses to help them maximize service by operating outdoor dining. Can restaurants set up tables on the public right-of-way? It is possible to expand onto the public right-of-way, but the site plan would need to be reviewed and approved by the city. The city is evaluating all options for outdoor dining on street, in parking lots, and on the right-of-way, as long as the location adheres to the state and health guidelines. And again, initial guidance was that tables should be 6 feet from sidewalks. Can businesses hang now open banner signs or use A-frame signs to increase visibility? At this upcoming Tuesday's Committee of the Whole meeting, a number of recommendations will be discussed with the City Council, including relaxing signage regulations to support this type of signage. The city will issue communication to businesses with information on allowed signage following that City Council discussion. Who can the businesses speak with about expanding their outdoor seating into city parking spaces? So again, as was mentioned, the city is evaluating the outdoor dining, especially in parking spaces on street, and we're awaiting further guidance from the state, which we anticipate to receive in the coming days. This matter, again, also will be discussed with the City Council on Tuesday at the Committee of the Whole meeting, and then guidance for allowable locations will be communicated to restaurants as soon as possible. As soon as we become aware of that information, we will pass that along to all of you. Does the city have specific guidance on customers sitting outside of a restaurant on their own accord? Again, this is dependent on the guidance provided by the state and Illinois Department of Public Health on how outdoor dining should be set up and how restaurants should be operating within that outdoor dining space. And again, we'll share that information as soon as possible. Are non-essential businesses clear to open on May 29th? Governor Pritzker has indicated that the soonest our region within the Restore Illinois plan can move to phase 3 is May 29th. As of now, the state has reported that trends are supporting non-essential businesses being able to reopen when the region moves to phase 3 with certain restrictions on capacity. We're still currently waiting for the governor's announcement formally confirming that our region is moving to phase 3. So that May 29th date is still dependent on the governor's formal announcement. Do we have a concrete opening date for salons? So as was announced with the phase 3 update, salons can open with restrictions in phase 3. And again, that may happen as soon as May 29th, but we're waiting for the governor's formal announcements and approval of when the phase 3 of the Restore Illinois plan will begin. Can fitness businesses use outdoor spaces for classes? Yes, the city is working on an expedited application for use of outdoor spaces for fitness classes. That also would include Port Clinton Square. We'll distribute the application once that is available. Requests to use park space should be directed to the Park District of Highland Park. Their contact information is available on their website, which is pdhp.org. Can rolling racks, merchandise, and tables be placed on sidewalks or in the street? So again, the city is waiting for guidance from the governor's office on how indoor, sidewalk, and outdoor retail spaces should be treated. Tables for dining, again, are 6 feet from sidewalks. That begs the question of, will merchandise racks cause people to congregate in that area, and how does social distancing get maintained? If permitted by the state, when the city releases the outdoor accessory application, we will ask our retailers to specify the intended outdoor accessories, including seating or merchandise racks. We would ask that the businesses monitor to ensure that the customers that are not from the same household are maintaining 6 feet distances if looking at merchandise on the racks. The racks should also be placed so that people looking at the racks aren't coming within 6 feet of people coming and going into and out of the stores. If located in front of a neighboring businesses, we would also need written approval from that business just to ensure that they are okay with the merchandise being located there. And so all of these details are being finalized and will be included in the application instructions. And again, as I keep saying, we're waiting on further guidance from the state. Can chairs be placed in front of stores for customers who are waiting to enter? We intend to include permitting for seating on the public right-of-way in front of businesses for customers who are waiting to, in order to allow and meet the state's capacity requirements for retail. But again, this will be finalized once we receive guidance from the state. How should reasonable accommodations be handled for people who do not want to wear a mask? What should we do if someone does not wear a mask? Business owners do have the ability and should refuse service to customers who do not wear a face covering. If assistance is needed, individuals can contact the non-emergency police number at 847-432-7730, and we'll assist. Can the city identify parking lots that can be used by fitness facilities? The city will identify locations that can be used for outdoor fitness facilities. We're working on an expedited application to schedule the usage of those spaces, and we'll have that out to everyone as soon as that's available. Are dance studios included in the list of businesses permitted to open in phase 3 with restrictions? Dance studios weren't specifically enumerated within the governor's update yesterday. We'll wait for further guidance from the state. Assumingly, they may be handled like fitness and recreational activities with outdoor activity and 6 feet social distancing. We'll go ahead and go through the Q&A that's been received through our Q&A button as well as emailed. Let's see here. So, if socially distanced outside, should people wear a face covering? So, as has been in place with the governor's order and local orders, individuals do not need to wear a face covering when outside unless 6 feet social distancing can't be maintained. So if you're out for a walk, have a face covering with you, don't need to wear it. But if you encounter a situation where you cannot maintain 6 feet distancing, that would be when a face covering would be required to be worn. Is Highland Park and Lake County bending the curve? So we've been on weekly and almost daily calls with the Lake County Health Department and the Illinois Department of Public Health. And Lake County, Highland Park, and our region has been bending the curve, which is what's resulting in the governor's office indicating that our region is on track to meet and transition to the phase 3 of the Restore Illinois plan.
Rob, we did have an increased number of cases just in the last couple of days, though. So again, we just cannot stress the importance of maintaining these regulations and adhering to them. The Lake County Health website, we provide a link to it, has a data hub that is updated every single day. And so you can see the cases there. So Highland Park now is that shade level that has the highest number of cases in the county. So again, if everyone could please continue to be mindful of that, and we can share the information certainly.
Thanks, Geeta. Does the city have details of a safety net available to review and comment? The city, we don't have a safety net document, so to speak, but we have been working closely with Moraine Township, West Deerfield Township on providing support and assistance to our residents, and they've been doing a tremendous job helping out residents with with food deliveries, rent assistance, and things of that nature. Is the city washing the sidewalks and streets? Manager Newkirk, does Public Works have any info on street?
Yeah, I did respond to it. We do street cleaning of all 130 miles of public streets in the 2 times a year. And then in the summer months, there is increased number of street sweeping in the high traffic, high pedestrian areas. So specifically the CBD and the Ravinia district. We don't currently sweep the sidewalks, but we don't have the equipment to do so. But we are making sure, and we're reviewing with Lakeshore and our haulers, making sure that all the garbage receptacles are clean and that they are emptied certainly on a daily basis.
Has the city been contacted by the Lake County Health Department for how the tracker program works for persons exposed to COVID? Contact tracers are currently being recruited by the state, and that information is available on the Illinois Department of Public Health website. Contact tracing is being led by the health departments under state guidance. I recommend checking the health department website, both Lake County Health Department and the Illinois Department of Public Health, for information on contact tracing programs. On a meeting yesterday, they said that they already have contact tracers that are currently going through training, so they are actively working on those programs. Are students, teachers, vendors, and staff going to be required to take temperatures before they attend school? Those details will most likely come through guidance from the Illinois Department of Public Health, given that schools are within a future phase of the Restore Illinois plan. We don't have those details as of yet, but once that information becomes available, be assured we'll put that out as quickly as possible.
Rob, can I interrupt on that? The school boards have actually touched on it at their meetings, and that's also going to come from the Illinois State Board of Education. Those questions should be addressed to the 113 and 112 as well, not necessarily to the city.
Thanks, Councilman Noble. Do health clubs who hold classes outside need an accessory license, or is that just for setting up tables and merchandise? The accessory license, the permits for those uses are for businesses that are intending to have chairs or merchandise outside of their stores. We'll have a separate application for outdoor classes and using city parking lots or Port Clinton Square. So again, that application will be going out to everyone. Do inside bathrooms need to be made inaccessible to health club patrons who take outside classes? I'm hoping that bathroom usage will be identified within the guidance provided from the state. So we'll look for that information. If that's not included in the guidance, we will follow up with the state, and then we'll include information in our follow-up and communicate that to everyone accordingly. What should restaurants do if it rains and we don't have a tent? Can tents be set up? So our community development department, as they are working on and evaluating how our outdoor dining will work, is looking at these types of questions currently. Tenting does require inspections and permitting from the city, just given the hazards presented of a storm rolling through. We want to make sure that tents that are erected are properly secured. So we'll include information and respond to this question about tenting once we release all the information on outdoor dining.
Rob, let me just jump in just a second, just to make sure it's clear as businesses are looking at their reopening plans. So the street closures, again, as indicated, we are taking a look at where we can close streets where we believe it makes sense to do so. We will certainly communicate with those impacted businesses to get their feedback before anything is done. And then businesses on a one-on-one basis, if you have a recommendation to use public right-of-way in and around your business, certainly let us know that, and we'll work with you on a case-by-case basis. For the street closures that the city would undertake, what I'm recommending to the city council is that the city can go ahead and establish those barriers to set up the framework for that street closure. But I am not recommending that the city pay for any of the furniture that would be out there or any of the tenting, anything in that regard. So that would be a cost to the business. And I realize this is a difficult financial time for everybody. The city too is looking at $11 million revenue loss just this year in our budget. And so it's a challenging time for everybody. We want to try to make it work, but I just don't want businesses thinking that we're going to be paying for tables and chairs and tents and umbrellas and everything like that.
Thank you. All right, so next question we got is, can business owners who bring their children to work have them inside the business while conducting health classes outside? If the children are old enough to be, of course, on their own, plausibly they could be in the business. We don't want people to be interacting that aren't necessarily from within the same household or not in accordance with the governor's orders as far as social distancing and things of that nature. So based on an initial, just looking at the question, I believe that would be allowed, but of course the children should be of an age that they could be on their own. We'll take a look at a little bit more guidance and see if anything is included a bit as far as how childcare and bringing children to work, and we'll communicate that information as well with our communications. What programs for small business have other cities nearby launched, and what is HP program assistance? Is small business assistance available individually or as a citywide initiative? While I don't have notes in front of me on what programs other municipalities have launched. The city has put in place a number of different assistance programs through cost reductions. City Manager Newkirk, do you have a list of those different things that we've done?
I don't have the list here. Certainly we can update it. So at the onset, when the business closing took place, for those businesses that rent space from city-owned property, we have a couple of leases where businesses are operating. So the city council approved rent relief for 3 months for those businesses. And that same media communication, we did encourage our business community for property owners, if they're able to provide rent relief for their tenants, we encourage them to do so just to provide that assistance. We put a hold on all permit fees, so parking permits, any permit fees, late fees. So everything pretty much stopped in terms of late payments due, and we're processing permits, inspections, the non-moving violations. So we stopped those types of things just to give some relief to businesses. But we can document and provide other information as well.
Is there information from the state on what the designation of swimming pools is within the Restore Illinois plan? I believe swimming pools are within phase 4, a later phase. They weren't identified within the phase 3 of the Restore Illinois plan. We'll update that information, and again, as information is shared from the state, we will inform everyone through our email communications as well as on our website. Is anyone specific? Yes.
Before you go on with swimming pools, there's 2 different swimming pool questions. One is, I know we have a couple of pools that are for private lessons like FOSS. And then we also have a couple of private clubs that run pools. They actually have 2 different questions. And what I have told actually, I've been talking with both of those business owners that we would submit, and we can do this for any business, we can submit a specific question to the state on their behalf if they're not getting the answer because they're very specific to their business. So again, we'll go over this again and give you all the context. I just wanted to be clear that we can help get those answers from the state for our businesses. Sorry to interrupt.
No, totally fine. That's great information. Thanks, Councilman Noble. Our next question is anyone specifically working on job opportunities for high school and college students? So again, as students are going into the summertime and our restaurants and retailers are opening up, we encourage our business owners to look at those opportunities, and there are some great students as a former Highland Park High School graduate who came through our community. So there are a number of great students in the community who now are going to be looking for summer jobs. So we encourage individuals to hire Highland Parkers. Is the
Park District maybe looking at seasonal people as they're looking at small camp groups that they're coordinating?
And we also had run through the city and partnership with the high school, we have run the Highland Park Career Exploration Program. Lisa Friedrich over at the high school has been terrific. She has continued to promote it. There have been some matches. It's a shadow program, but we've encouraged students to go back to their matches, and they've actually networked through them as well. So there's a little bit, not a big one, but a little bit of a safety net in there, trying to help the students figure out what they could do and explore different avenues.
Thank you. Can the city encourage landlords to work with their tenants for rent forgiveness or abatement? So the city, we as a community have forgiven rent for our city owned properties that we have leases for. We've also communicated with our property owners about helping out tenants. Of course, that's a decision that's left to the property owners. And so we've always encouraged our property owners to try to assist and get everyone through these tough times. And we'll continue to have those communications. But again, those decisions are at the property owner's discretion. Do restaurants have to use disposable silverware sets? Again, we're looking for guidance from the state on that question. And so as soon as we hear information, we will go ahead and put that information out to everyone as soon as possible. Can the city please post a link for procuring PPE? So while again, I mentioned earlier, the city doesn't specifically recommend any specific vendors for PPE. We're looking and we're communicating with our local business support agencies about establishing a consortium style purchasing program, but those are details that are currently under discussion at this point. Again, we can't necessarily provide any specific recommendations on PPE suppliers. There's a question regarding the EIDL and PPP programs. Agnes from DECO, I'm not sure if you're still on and can assist with this question. Is the EIDL advance for $1,000 per employee, as it pertains to the EIDL advance for $1K per employee, is that a grant or does it need to be spent in the same manner as the PPP with 75% for payroll and 25% for other approved expenses? We've also heard that there's a bill in Congress to change the 75% rule, and what's the status on that?
Rob, thank you for asking. I will need to get further clarification from our SBA director. So if that person can just, I'll put my name is in the chat. So if they want to email me directly, I'd be happy to help.
And we can include that in the Q&A so everyone will have that information too.
Thank you.
And the last question I saw come through was, can I carry out food from a restaurant, eat the food from in the back of my pickup truck in the parking area? If you're socially distanced, yes, feel free to enjoy your meal in your vehicle, in your personal vehicle. So, I believe that concludes all the questions that I have seen. I'm checking the City HP account. It doesn't look like we've received any emailed questions. If any questions come in that we didn't identify, we'll go ahead and include those in our Q&A and email that out to everyone as well. So.
Thank you, Rob. And I know that we've talked about several pieces of policy that the City Council will be discussing at our next Committee of the Whole meeting. It's important to note that because of the Memorial Day holiday on Monday, the City Council and the City Council Committee of the Whole will be meeting on Tuesday. And those details of that meeting, which is accessible to the public, are posted at cityhpil.com. Alyssa, did you want to jump in here and talk about follow-up and so forth?
Sure. So thank you to everybody for being on today. It's been a good almost hour and a half and lots of good questions. And thank you to everyone who has been calling, not just myself. The staff has been round the clock, Mayor. A lot of my council colleagues are on right now. We have all been fielding questions and we really appreciate it. Not that we don't want to talk to you, but your best and first source for who to call when you have a question, we repeat it often and we thank her profusely, is Carolyn Hirsch. We will make sure that, again, not just Carolyn's contact, but everyone who has been on this call today. Agnes, thank you, and Matt. Everyone's contact and all of the links will be available on the city's website. People say, oh, where on the city's website? We have a really great search bar. All you have to do is go business and you will get to it, and we will make sure everything is there. This whole presentation, again, with all of the contacts. So everyone can reach out and ask their specific questions and go forward. You know, we are collectively working on what our new normal is going to look like. We are trying to be as flexible as possible. We want to help everyone. We want to hear all the ideas. There is no bad idea. And if there's an idea that we think, oh, well, we can't do it, we're going to certainly try to figure out a way to do it. We are truly working with you and in your best interest. Again, we ask that your first point of contact is Carolyn Hirsch and not social media. And to use all of the contacts we have at City Hall. And of course, we're all here. If you feel more comfortable emailing any of us, the council can be reached at council@cityhpil. General questions can go to city@cityhpil.com as well. And again, as the mayor said, there is a committee of the whole meeting coming up on Tuesday, May 26th. It will follow a regular meeting, which begins at 6 o'clock. So you will hear the council be able to discuss some of these ideas that you heard that the staff has been so thoughtful in putting together for road closures, sidewalk seating, window regulations, reduction of fees, things like that. The council is pretty much all on board, but we do have to have that official discussion. And you are welcome to watch that and participate. And again, please, if you are not, and you're on this call and you have not signed up for our e-news, please do it. It is the #1 source of information coming out from the city. We don't have a lot of papers and media and all of that, but it is the most reliable, trusted source. We're doing it twice a week right now, more if you need it. That is at our website, www.cityhpil.com. And I just want to say again, thank you to everyone who's been on the call. Thank you to my council colleagues, the mayor, the staff. Thank you to everyone for their partnership. We are going to come back and reimagine ourselves and be better than we were before.
Very well stated. Thank you. And we look forward to your questions. We are here as a resource and we're here as a partner. And we look forward to brighter days ahead. Gita, anything else you want to add?
No, that's it. Thank you, everybody. We will follow up with the Q&A as noted.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, everybody. Take care.